Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show, everyone. Today, we're diving into a fascinating mix of news that spans from the Vatican to Wall Street. Just a day before Pope Francis passed away, he had a heartfelt Easter Sunday meeting with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, who, in a wheelchair, exchanged gifts and shared hopes for faith and perseverance. It was a touching moment that marked the end of an era, with both leaders paying tribute after the Pope's passing. Switching gears to politics, Georgia's Jason Esteves announced his run for governor in 2026. The Democrat is focusing on lowering living costs, healthcare, and education, trying to make a splash early in a race that's already heating up. With big names like Stacey Abrams and Keisha Bottoms on the sidelines, Esteves aims to stand out with his local roots and diverse background. And finally, the financial world is feeling the heat. Trump's recent criticism of the Federal Reserve has sent shockwaves through markets, causing stocks to tumble and gold prices to soar. The tension between politics and economics is real, with concerns about the stability of the dollar and the global economy rising fast. Please continue to stay tuned for more details. The Toronto Star vividly recounts a poignant moment at the Vatican, where U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, a recent convert to Catholicism, visited Pope Francis just a day before his passing. Despite the Pope's frail state, confined to a wheelchair, the encounter radiated warmth and reverence, with Vance greeting him with genuine affection and exchanging heartfelt gifts like rosaries and chocolates. Their brief but meaningful exchange was underscored by Vance's heartfelt prayer and admiration, emphasizing the deep spiritual connection shared between them. The meeting, set against a backdrop of political sensitivities, highlighted the complex relationship between faith and geopolitics, with discussions touching on global Christian persecution, migration rights, and the contrasting political stances of the U.S. and the Vatican. Meanwhile, the Toronto Star also captures the political landscape in Georgia, where Democrat Jason Esteves announced his bid for governor in 2026. Esteves, a young and dynamic state senator with a compelling personal story, former public school teacher, business owner, and father, aims to rejuvenate Georgia's democratic prospects amid a field of potential candidates. His campaign emphasizes opposition to Trump's policies, advocating for lower living costs, expanded healthcare, and educational funding. The race is further complicated by family health crises affecting other Democratic contenders like Stacey Abrams and Lucy McBath, who have stepped back from the race. Esteves's bid marks a strategic move to boost visibility and fundraising, positioning himself as a fresh face in Georgia's evolving political scene, with a platform focused on economic growth and social justice. The Toronto Star also reports on the turbulent state of the Pentagon under the Trump-era Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, whose use of signal messaging has come under scrutiny. Allegations emerged that Hegseth shared sensitive military details with his wife and brother in private chats, raising concerns about national security and the integrity of military communications. The White House expressed unwavering support for Hegseth, dismissing the reports as the work of disgruntled employees and media speculation, even as investigations into leaked information and internal turmoil intensified. The Pentagon's broader struggles with leak investigations, personnel departures, and internal disarray, highlighted by the recent resignations of key officials, paint a picture of a department besieged by internal conflict and operational challenges, with the future of leadership and security hanging in the balance. CNN reports that Pope Francis, a figure of humility and compassion, contrasted sharply with Donald Trump, a man of grandeur and controversy, highlighting their divergent lives and leadership styles. Francis, who once personally settled his hotel bill, embodied modesty and a focus on the marginalized, while Trump, a real estate mogul turned president, often flaunted his success and sought to elevate his image. Their interactions, including Trump's 2017 visit to the Vatican, revealed a complex relationship marked by mutual respect yet underlying disagreements, especially on issues like climate change and immigration. Despite their differences, both outsiders in their respective fields had a shared mission to champion the overlooked, Trump for American workers and Francis for the poor, each seeking profound institutional reforms amid contrasting personal philosophies. The Toronto Star emphasizes the tumultuous state of North American markets amid escalating trade tensions and political turmoil. On a Monday marked by a significant stock market plunge, the S&P TSX Composite in Canada dropped over 200 points, while U.S. indices like the Dow Jones and S&P 500 suffered steep declines, erasing trillions of dollars in value. The financial upheaval was driven by President Trump's relentless tariff threats and his vocal criticism of Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, whom he called a major loser and urged to cut interest rates immediately. Oil prices tumbled, and the Canadian dollar experienced a slight uptick, but the overall sentiment was one of economic uncertainty fueled by fears of inflation, a slowing economy, and a brewing global trade war, with China warning other nations against making deals with the US and asserting its readiness to defend its interests. Finally, the Canadian press highlights the broader implications of Trump's aggressive trade policies and the market's volatile response. As global markets reacted with sharp declines, Trump's relentless push for tariffs and his public pressure on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates exacerbated fears of a recession. Meanwhile, China issued stern warnings to its trading partners, condemning U.S. tariffs as economic bullying and vowing reciprocal measures. The international landscape was tense, with Asian markets showing mixed results and China reaffirming its stance against trade deals that undermine its interests. The ongoing trade war, coupled with political uncertainty in North America, underscored a fragile economic environment where diplomatic and economic strategies are increasingly intertwined, casting a shadow over the prospects for global growth. The Independent vividly recounts Dr. Mehmet Oz's heartfelt response following a startling incident in the Oval Office, where his granddaughter, Philomena, fainted during his swearing-in ceremony as head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The story captures the warmth and compassion of the White House team and President Trump, who personally comforted Oz's family and made their day memorable with thoughtful gestures and gifts. Despite the unexpected health scare, Philomena recovered swiftly, and Oz shared joyful moments of her enjoying ice cream afterward, emphasizing the resilience and support surrounding their family during this stressful event. Yahoo US provides an insightful look into Georgia's 2026 gubernatorial race, highlighting Jason Esteves' official announcement to run for governor amid a shifting political landscape. The article details Esteves' background as a state senator, lawyer, and former public school teacher, positioning him as a candidate focused on lowering living costs, expanding healthcare, and defending reproductive rights. It also notes the absence of other prominent Democratic contenders like Keisha Lance and Stacey Abrams, as well as Republican hopefuls such as Chris Carr and Burt Jones. The piece underscores the personal sacrifices of other potential candidates, like Jason Carter and Lucy McBath, who have stepped back due to family health concerns, illustrating the complex dynamics and high stakes of Georgia's upcoming election. South China Morning Post offers a gripping account of the turmoil on Wall Street caused by President Trump's escalating feud with the Federal Reserve. His social media threats to oust Chair Jerome Powell and demand interest rate cuts have triggered a massive sell-off, with stocks plunging and the dollar weakening to a 15-month low. Gold surged past $3,400 an ounce, reaching record heights as investors sought safe havens amid the chaos. Experts warned that undermining the Fed's independence could destabilize the global financial system, risking a de-dollarization trend and eroding confidence in the US dollar's reserve currency status. The article underscores the broader geopolitical and economic implications of Trump's aggressive stance, with hedge fund leaders and analysts expressing concern over the long-term stability of U.S. monetary policy and global economic dominance. The Toronto Star reports that North American stock markets experienced significant declines in early Monday trading, driven by escalating fears over the U.S.-China trade war and concerns about a potential recession. The S&P/TSX in Toronto dropped 0.7%, while in New York, the S&P 500 plunged 2.1%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 1.5%, and the Nasdaq declined by 2.7%. Despite the stock market downturn, the Canadian dollar gained strength, reaching 72.44 cents US. The Asian markets presented a mixed picture, with Tokyo's Nikkei falling 1.3%, Hong Kong's Hang Seng rising 1.6%, and Shanghai's SSE increasing 0.5%. China issued a stern warning to other nations against making trade deals with the US that could harm Chinese interests, emphasizing that China would oppose any such agreements and take reciprocal countermeasures. Meanwhile, countries like Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea have begun negotiations with Washington following President Trump's announcement of sweeping tariffs against nearly all U.S. trading partners, which initially caused market panic but saw some tariffs paused. China's Commerce Ministry condemned the U.S. tariffs as economic bullying and reaffirmed its resolve to defend its interests, with U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent urging allied nations to approach China collectively in trade negotiations. The situation remains tense as global markets grapple with the implications of these escalating trade tensions. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6 Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6 team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6 Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6 Brief via email.
Turn on the TV screen, see the world unseen. China's on the news tonight, history in the spotlight. Scroll through my phone again, find out where to begin. Stories from the east to west, learning from the very best. News in China every day, learning in a fun new way. From the cities to the farms, feel the heartbeat, feel the charm. Ancient tales in modern times, mountains high and river rise. Culture rich in every town, golden driving never down. Every headline a new friend, from beginning to the end, connecting hearts through every word. China's story always heard. News in China every day, learning a fun new way. From the cities to the farms, feel the heartbeat, feel the charm. Every headline a new friend, from beginning to the end, connecting hearts through every word. China's story all